what do you do if you have an opportunity to explain nonviolence, but they only give you a few minutes? This is a very common situation in my experience. I'll be invited to come and talk to students at a school, but I only have 15 minutes, part of the assembly, or perhaps I am the assembly speaker, but I only have 20 minutes or 25 minutes to talk. Very common. In a short period of time, I would concentrate on the idea that if you treat other people with respect and do them no harm and listen to them and try to understand where they're coming from, that is not only a good way, a nice way to treat them, but it's also the most practical way. It leaves the most doors open for whatever may come in your interaction with that person. And it may be the beginning of a relationship that both of you will value. Stories are always good, so you need a short story. My favorite one, and probably my students' favorite story, is the motorcycle story, where Jim Lawson performed an almost miraculous feat of nonviolence during the Nashville sit-ins, part of the civil rights movement. He had been training students in nonviolence and preparing them to go and sit in at lunch counters. So one morning they were walking to the lunch counters, and they passed by a motorcycle gang, and the motorcycle gang started to beat up a couple of people at the end of the line. Jim Lawson walked up to the leader of the motorcycle gang and engaged him in a conversation about motorcycles. And he attracted so much attention that the other members of the gang gathered around to listen. And in the process, the beating stopped, and Jim's students were able to get up and rejoin their comrades. So Jim was talking about motorcycles with the gang and engaging them in a real conversation. And after a few minutes, he was able to say, well, I got to go now. And he disengaged and rejoined his group. That story is told in David Halberstam's book, The Children, which I highly recommend. And I hope you'll maybe start your presentations on nonviolence with something like that. But that way of treating people with respect, doing them no harm, and listening to where they're coming from is obviously an act of goodwill. And the term for that is agape, both in the nonviolence tradition and in Christian discussions of what Christian nonviolence is all about. You don't have to be a Christian to practice nonviolence. And in fact, there are nonviolent traditions in many of the world's religions. But that's a starting point, is respect and caring for other people, agape. See you next time.